Hi guys, it is Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? Wednesday the 16th of March, and I thought I would do a cook with me video. I actually am going to do several. I'm going to do one on Saturday too for all of you who want to see the cauliflower mac and cheese that I make. I'm going to do that on Saturday, so I'm going to get a video of that up too. Tonight I am making the emilybites beef enchilada quinoa bake. So I have everything laid out. I'm going to show you what you need, and then I'm going to show you the quinoa takes like 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to show you that part, and then I'll come back and show you the rest of it when I'm ready to do that. The quinoa really needs to cook and almost cool down before you can cook it, otherwise, before you can mix everything in and bake it, or it gets kind of mushy. So I will do that part, and then I'll bring you back and we'll do the rest of it. So let me flip you around. Okay guys, so here is everything that you will need. Now this is everything that I use. I kind of go through a recipe and add and delete, use a little bit extra, a little bit less, of certain things that I can get away with using less or more or whatever to kind of get the serving size to the number of points that I want. So this is just me. This is all of the ingredients from her recipe except for black olives, because for some reason I don't have them, which is fine because it will add points to this. But I just may have a different amount than what she has. So I have 1 pound of 96% lean ground beef. I had a little extra in the package, so I did take it out. And I'll just cook that and maybe throw it on a salad tomorrow night. I have 112 grams of Kraft 2% cheese, which is here, if you want to see the cheese I use. I try when I can to weigh things out. I do think you get more. Like this, 112 grams is what I calculated the cup to be based on the serving size and the grams it said for a quarter of a cup. I definitely could not get all of this cheese into a 1 cup measure. So you definitely get more when you weigh. I have 2/3 of a cup of black beans. These are the black beans I use. The reduced sodium doesn't change the points, but I like to cut sodium where I can. In here I have some cilantro, and in the bottom one I have some green onions. This is 15 ounces of red enchilada sauce. I used 1 whole can of this and then a half a can of the other one. So that's 15 ounces. 2/3 of a cup of frozen corn. The recipe did not call for this, but I like a little onion and garlic in everything I cook. This is the quinoa I'm using, and I'll flip it around. Now this says add 1 cup of the quinoa to 1.5 cups of water. I am actually using chicken stock, which I find adds more flavor, and I always find that I don't have enough liquid, so I have 1.5 cups of chicken stock and 1/2 cup of water. Taco seasoning, there is 109 grams of low-fat sour cream, which is 7 tablespoons. That's what's in there. Garlic powder, salt and pepper to put on the beef. This is the quinoa. I'm going to show you this part, and then when this is done, I will... Okay, so I have my liquid boiling. So that is 2 cups of liquid, and the package says water and salt, but because I'm using stock, I'm not going to add any salt. I'm going to put the quinoa in the liquid. I'm going to stir it around. I'm going to let it come back up to a boil. which it already is. So I'm going to reduce the temperature and I'm going to put the cover on. I'm going to cook that for like 12 to 15 minutes and then I'm going to shut it off and I'm just going to let it sit there for another 10 minutes or so. And then I'll fluff it with a fork and let it cool down a little bit before we do the rest. So I'll be back. Okay, so while the quinoa is cooking, I'm going to cook the beef. So I'm going to turn, it's just water. I'm going to turn the burner on and I'm going to spray this with just some olive oil spray. And I'm going to brown up the meat with the onions and peppers. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And then I will show you the next step. Okay guys, so the beef is all browned. The onion, the garlic, salt and pepper, garlic powder. I just kind of beat it up with my spoon till it was all mixed. Now it does say drain. There's absolutely nothing in my pan, but this was like the leanest amount. You know, there's no fat in here, so I'm not going to drain it. This is the quinoa. It's been sitting for 10 minutes, turned off, so I'm just gonna break it up with a fork, and that's what you want. You don't want it to be all clumped together or anything, and that's kind of why I let it sit. Otherwise, it tends to get really mushy and kind of like all globbed together. So it's really fluffy and light, which is exactly what you want. So I'm going to take 2 cups out of here and put them in with the beef. What's the matter? You don't sound very happy. Ready? Toot. Push the buttons. There you go. Okay, so I took 2 cups out. There's just a little bit left. I'll put it in a dish and have it with that leftover beef. So that's in here. So you're gonna, what, honey? You're gonna mix that all in.
Stop talking now. Stop talking now.
Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna actually add all of your other ingredients into the pan or a big bowl. It's big enough, so I'm not gonna dirty another dish. I'm not going to add the green onion and the cilantro. That's gonna go with the second half of the cheese. So I'm gonna add half of this cheese. We're gonna mix everything together and pour it in a casserole dish. And then half of the cheese that's left, I'm gonna mix with the green onions and the cilantro, and we're gonna sprinkle that on top. I think after it's halfway baked or whatever. I got a perfect tip that I never actually thought about. I got it from Lisa Russell, who also does YouTube videos, and I will link her channel below. She has some amazing tips for tools and measuring and things like that. She's got some great daily eats vlogs, and she's awesome. So if you haven't checked her out, check her out. But she said when she makes things in a casserole dish, she weighs her casserole dish empty, writes that down, and then she weighs it again when it comes out of the oven. Then whatever it is, the total weight at the end, she can divide by the number of servings and weigh her portion out. And I thought, how ingenious is that? Because you never know. Like right now, I'm going to divide this pan into 8. I'm going to divide this pan into 8. And you can guess, but you may actually be cutting yourself a little short, or you may be giving yourself too much. So I weighed out the baking dish, and it is 87.5 ounces when it's empty. So I'm going to spray it with some cooking spray. I'm going to pour everything in, and then I'll bring you back. And we're going to remember that number, and then we're going to weigh it again when it comes out of the oven. So stay tuned. Okay, so here it is all in the casserole dish, all mixed together. And then I have mixed the remaining cheese with some green onion and some cilantro. I'm going to sprinkle that on the top. And I left a little of the greens in the bowls just to put on top, just to look pretty. And then we are going to have green beans with it. And the biggest tip my mother ever gave me, which she's given me a lot, is to always cook with a sink full of hot soapy water. Then you're not stuck doing all of the dishes at the end. So this is going to bake 350 for about 35 minutes. And then we will weigh it again and check it out, because I've never done this before with the weighing of the whole dish. So I'll check back in when it's all done and show you what the final product looks like. Alright guys, here's the finished product. It was actually in the oven about 3 minutes too long. Yeah, life of a mama. Anyways, I weighed it again. Before, when it was empty, it was 87.5 ounces. After the food was cooked, it was 135.29 ounces. So I subtracted the empty from the full, and I got 79.79 ounces, which would be the food that's inside. And then I divided that by 8. I divided that by 8 for 8 servings, and it came out to 5.973 ounces. So 6 ounces a serving. So I'm going to plate up my food, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so here is the end result. 6-ounce portion with 1 teaspoon of fat-free sour cream on the top for 0 points, green beans, and then I have a 3-point Caesar salad, so this is 6 points, and then I have 1 point worth of the Bolthouse Caesar dressing, 2 points worth of croutons in there, and literally like 3 grams of shaved Parmesan that I shaved myself, so that's 0. So altogether, 9-point supper. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you make it because it's really yummy. Enjoy. Have a good night.